started music production after seeing Ferry Corsten play at an all-ages trance rave when I was 14 years old. We found the flyer on the classroom floor in my Year 9 maths classroom and decided we should go and check it out. And after that, yeah, I just decided to start writing trance music in my bedroom on some old hi-fi speakers with my computer and some really crappy software, and the rest is history. Well, Boomjinx actually just sent me a link to a thread on the Anjunabeats forums recently, saying that it was basically a thread about how people had been big fans of the track that we did together, Milano, and so we've kind of been talking over email and decided that it might be cool to do a new track. So we're currently just going through some ideas and trying to find something that we think will be good for the next track. So yeah, hopefully in the near future you'll be seeing that. Well, I was an Anjunabeats producer for quite a few years, and obviously it was really sort of great having that platform to write my own music and to release other people's kind of progressive house music. But what it came down to was, over the last few years, I've just been to so many trance parties, both with the Above and Beyond guys and just on my own as well, that I couldn't ignore the fact that I was basically playing for the trance crowd most of the time. So with the new album, I kind of wanted to acknowledge that a little bit, and I really enjoy trance parties and trance music, so I figured it was about time I sort of move more in that direction. And I think at the same time, the Anjunabeats sound and the trance sound is kind of closer to my style nowadays than what it used to be as well, because it's sort of slowed down in BPM, and it's sort of it's come more towards this kind of style of house music and progressive music than it used to be as well. Well, I started working with Steve Smith as a result of the remix that Above and Beyond did for the track Dirty Vegas Tonight, which was it was the anthem of the Beats and Music conference or something like that a few years ago. And basically, yeah, I was looking for vocalists for my new album, and they put me in touch with Steve, who already had the makings of this idea for the track Stranger sitting around. And so we did sort of a draft version of it over the internet, and we were liking where it was going. So last year we got together in the Above and Beyond studio here in London, and yeah, basically laid down the whole track again, reproduced it from the ground up, worked on the lyrics a little bit and tweaked them, and then recorded them in the studio. And so yeah, I think the end result has been a bit of a surprise to a lot of my fans. A lot of people who have been following my music for the last few years probably weren't really quite expecting that kind of thing from me, but the response has been really good. Traveling around the world and playing at gigs in places like India and Australia and Japan, and having people sing along to the words is pretty cool. The inspiration for the title Multiverse was basically to sort of convey a reflection of all the different styles on the album, because for anyone who's listened to my first album, it was very much centered around sort of progressive house and chill out music, whereas the new album sort of covers trance and progressive. There's sort of some electro change stuff in there as well, and a few sort of more experimental styles, the likes of which I've never done before. So it was kind of a big step for me sort of creatively, and also kind of like a big sort of statement to the world. And so I think calling it Multiverse and having this like gorgeous colorful artwork that we have sort of helps convey that idea that it's a new kind of chapter, and it's made up of lots of different styles. Blue Ocean is a track that my good friend Elliot and I had worked on in 2009, and later that year sadly she passed away, as a lot of people in the Anjuna family know. And yeah, basically I'd been sitting on those vocals for quite a while, because we'd recorded them in quite a makeshift kind of recording little booth in my bedroom. And so we'd done it on quite a cheap little microphone with a little booth made out of pillows and stuff. So I had this recording that I'd been sitting on for a while, and after she passed away, I sort of I made it kind of my mission to get that track to sound as full as I could possibly make it. But back then I hadn't really had that much experience working with vocals, and so in order to do that I had to seek the advice of a lot of different people. I had to learn a lot about vocal production and and how to make sort of a vocal recording sound good, because it was such sort of new ground for me. And yeah, with the help of a few of my friends, specifically a friend of mine named Sam who works in a mastering studio in Melbourne. You know, he really gave me a lot of pointers and a lot of advice on, you know, how I can sort of, you know, get a kind of studio quality style vocal out of, you know, a kind of home setup. And so, you know, the track itself probably took me something like 3 years to finish, and you know, it went through a lot of different versions as well, until I finally found a version that I was really happy with, and that my friends were really happy with as well. So yeah, the end result, you know, it's definitely a labor of love, and I'm really glad to see it on the album. I think my favorite gig this year has been Tokyo, Japan. It wasn't actually in Tokyo, it was an hour's drive south of Tokyo on the beach of the Pacific Ocean. And basically for that trip, I decided to take 10 days off in between the two gigs and travel with my sister and two of my friends. And so yeah, we were sort of on holiday and having lots of fun in Japan. And then we had this fantastic sunset gig at this kind of beach bar with about 300 people who were all there for that kind of music, and the music was also kind of blasting out to the beach as well, so it was kind of providing a soundtrack to this beach in Japan. And so that was probably one of my favorite gigs. I think firstly because it was the first Multiverse proper tour gig, and so yeah, it was the first track where I had played, say for example, Stranger out, you know, to an audience after the album had come out. So yeah, that was a great experience. I think my favorite piece of studio kit at the moment is the acoustic treatment I've just put up all around my studio. Ask any of my friends and they'll tell you that I just won't shut up about it in the last little while, because it's been sorely overdue. For any kind of budding music producers out there, like, I can't stress how much of a big difference it's already made to the way I produce tracks, having an actually properly acoustically treated studio. So yeah, you know, I've been putting it off for a very long time, and just I'm overjoyed at how much detail I can hear in my studio. Beyond that, I'm still in love with Ableton Live. You know, I think that's such a fantastic piece of software, and you can create music so easily and so quickly with it. And yeah, you know, I'm very excited that version 9 is coming out. And I also have to strongly recommend Omnisphere by Spectrasonics, which is basically just the biggest library of all sorts of different sounds that you'll ever see. And it makes up such a large proportion of, you know, what I write. I've been using it for the last, you know, few years, and I still feel like I haven't even scratched the surface in terms of what it can do. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who supported the release of Multiverse. The last few months since it's come out have been absolutely insane, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And yes, I'm working on some club mixes of the album tracks, which I'll be unleashing on you guys very soon.